Hello everyone, I welcome you all to our channel Let's Learn Automation, and in this session we are going to see the runtime polymorphism. In a previous session we have seen the compile time polymorphism or called as overloading in a detailed way. Even we have taken the many example or program which shows different cases, and there is one generic method is also explained where we can use the any number of parameter by using the single method. Now let's try to understand the runtime polymorphism. So first of all, let's see the concept. So in a runtime polymorphism method, in a runtime polymorphism, method declaration is going to get binded to its definition at runtime or execution time. So what we have seen previously in a compile time polymorphism, that binding is done at the compile time, and in runtime polymorphism, it happen in while the runtime or execution time. So that's why it is called as a runtime polymorphism. And as it is going to happen at runtime, so that is also called as a late binding, because compile time means what, early binding, and runtime means what, late binding. Runtime, it will happen later on a later stage, that's why it is called as a late binding. Then method overriding is an example of runtime polymorphism, so let's try to understand that too. When we write the method in a when we write a method in a super and subclass in a such a way that the method name and parameter must be same, then it is known as a method overriding. In a previous example we have seen that method name is same but parameter will be different, but here everything is same in the declaration, like method name and parameter must be same. Then only we are able to override the method. Then acquiring superclass method into subclass with the help of extend keyword and changing the implementation means what, we need to perform the inheritance in a method overriding. If we need to perform it, there is no need of inheritance in method overloading, but in overriding we need the more than two classes or two classes at least, and inheritance or connection should be there. Then there are specifically two scenario where child class override the method of parent. Like why we need the overriding, so that is going to see. Then if the parent class implementation is not able to fulfill the child class requirement, then we need to override. Like parent class have something and that is not expected to the child, then definitely child will override. uh, Here if the requirement is clear and implementation is different for the different child classes. For example, we have the multiple classes where one super class is there, and like a hierarchical structure there are multiple subclasses, and every subclass needs the different implementation. At that time we need the method overriding. For example, we have one common central bank like RBI, which is going to decide the policies. And now we have the different private bank, some nationalized bank like ICCI, DFC, SBI, PNB. So the functionality of all the banks, the private bank or the government bank, are different or somewhat different, but they are all are linked to the RBI. So in this case we can use the overriding. So we'll try to understand this too by using example. So let's switch to Eclipse. Here I will create one new package and will name it like overriding, and here I will create a new class. So first of all we'll try to see the basic example how we can do the overriding. So this is our class. Now here I will create one method, void employee, a normal method which does not contain any parameter for now. Then here I will print like employee of company. So this is the common method or generic method, we can say that. And okay, so let's write down this in another class. So here first of all I will create one more class like class, I can say company, and in this class I will use this method. and we'll use this particular class for execution. So this is the method, this is the class, like class company, and this is the method in a, sorry, yeah, this is the method in company class employee. It says that employee of company. Now I will create one more class, class QA, and I will connect these two classes by using extend keyword, and here I will declare the same method, and here I will say QA of company. So now, okay, so this is company class which contain one method employee, and it says employee of company. Then we have one QA class which is extended to company, and it also have the same method employee. There is no difference in the declaration, everything is same, identical. Only QA of company and employee of company, these statements are different. Now if I want to execute this, for that I will create, first of all, what we have done, normally we have created the object of child class. So a is object, sorry, not object but the reference variable, and now a dot employee. So if I execute this, then I am getting QA of employee. So this is the normal way. Now if I create the object of parent class, like company, b equals to new company, and here I will call b dot employee, and if I execute this, then this will execute the his own method. So this particular object will execute its own method, this particular object will execute its own method. Okay, now if I want to override mean to say what, like this method should override this method, or the QA employee method should override the company employee method. So at that time, here I can write down like one keyword, we can say that override. So by which we'll come to know that this is the overriding method. This is not compulsory to use the keyword, but it will guide us that this particular method is overriding this method. Now if I create the reference variable of company like X, and here if I put the content of parent child class, so what happened over here, here we have done like this is the subclass or child class for which we created the object and we call the method. Then this is what the parent class for which we have created the object and call the method. Now we are using the reference variable of parent class and the content is of child class. Okay, so this is somewhat different. And now if I call x dot employee, and now if I execute, so let's comment this. So we are getting QA of employee. Okay, now let's try to understand it once again. So what, okay, what happened here, this particular method is overriding this method, because this particular method is giving more specific information like QA of company, and this is saying employee of company. Employee can be anything, QA, manager, dev, anyone, but this giving the more specific information, so this is overriding this method. Now let's try to understand like x dot employee. So what happened here, we can see that whenever I am using the object X, it is showing employee of which class, company class. Okay, means what, this method belongs to the company. Like what I am doing here, I am writing the or using the reference variable of parent class, and content or the object, it contain the object of child class. Okay, now whenever I'm trying to execute this method by using the object like x dot employee, here we can say that this particular method belongs to the company class. This method does not belongs to the QA class, or this method belongs to the parent class, not child class. As this method belongs to the parent class, so what is expectation whenever I will execute this method? So parent class method or this method should be called, but this is not going to happen. Why it is so? Because we are using the overriding concept, or this method is overriding this method, and this is happening in a runtime. Because in a compile time we can see that we are able to call, if I again try to write down like x dot, sorry, something is happened. Okay, so now x dot employee, here we can say that the method of parent class is showing, and if I use that and if I run it, then QA of company and QA of company means the child class method is executing, means compile time it is calling or it is showing that it is related or connected to the parent class method. But whenever the program run at that time, it come to know that, or the we can say the we can say that the method of child class is going to execute. So this is happening at runtime. Compile time it is showing with the parent class method, but runtime it is executing the child class method. That is what called as a overriding. Means at a runtime the decision is going to change that which class method is going to call, parent class or child class. So this is one example. Let's try to understand with the another example. New class and program 2. Okay, so first of all I will create more classes, so we can do all those things in a different file also. Okay, just like I'm doing the multiple classes in the same file, we can do the same thing with a different file, but this is easy to understand, that's why I'm writing like this. So now for example, let's take class parent, and this class will have void, we can say that property, and here I will write down like father have money plus gold plus land, we can say that, and it is, and then we'll use another method void marriage. So like I can say father is saying Harry should marry with Hermione. So this is the example, like what father, or we can say that Harry father, like James we can say that. So father is saying, or James is saying, James is a Harry father, then James is saying that Harry should marry with the Hermione. This is what the decision of James, or James think like that. And now let's try to create one more class child, and here we'll use the same method. Just copy this because we are using overriding, and here Harry wants to marry Ginny. So the parent class have two method, property method and marriage method. So property method says father have money, gold, land, everything, and marriage method says James is saying Harry should marry with the Hermione. This is what the James is thinking. But in a child class, we have the same method like this. But here, Harry says that, or Harry wants to marry with the Ginny. Let's uh, connect these two classes, parent, and now this is the overriding. We can say that, and we'll write down here overriding. This is not compulsory, but uh, it's understandable to everyone what the method is doing. Now, if I do the same thing which I have done in a previous example like this, so that is called as overriding. In overriding, what we need to do? We need to use the reference variable of parent class and content will be the child class. So in the same way, here also I will use like uh, parent x equals to new and here child class. So now what happened? X dot property, for example, if I call this and if I execute this, so let's remove this, that is not required. So father have money, gold and land. Now if I call x dot marriage, so now here we can see that again the same thing, x dot marriage. So this marriage method belongs to the parent, not child. Means what? Whenever at the time of compilation, at the time of compilation, parent method is connected, or this particular line should execute this parent method. But whenever we run, runtime decision change, and if we execute this, then we are getting Harry wants to marry Ginny. So James method is, or the parent method is not executing over here. So this is what called as overriding. So here what happened? Here child decision overriding the parent decision, or Harry decision overriding the James decision. This is what the another example of overriding, because this child method or child class method overriding the method of parent class. Again, we'll take one more example. So here I will create one more class, program 3, and here I will create some classes, class RBI, and it will say like, first of all we'll use the uh, void show. So I will write down in a single line. So this is RBI, this is RBI bank, and here I will complete the method. So this is the single line we can use like this. Then I will use one more method. So void IR means interest rate. So RBI says IR should not more than 8%. Interest rate should not be more than 8%. This is what RBI is saying. Now we will create some bank, private bank. Like here I will create ICICI, and this is ICICI bank, and so interest rate of ICICI is 7.9%. Then I will use one more bank. HDFC, HDFC, HDFC interest rate is 7.96. Okay, then I will use, I will write SBI, SBI here, SBI, then interest rate is 7.8. And now, so this is what RBI, what RBI says, that this is RBI bank, then interest rate should not be more than 8%. This is what the RBI is saying. Now, as per this condition, all the other bank needs to be behave. So ICICI, this is what ICICI bank, and it is says the interest rate is, our interest rate is 7.9, HDFC bank interest rate is 7.96, and it is 7.8. And now I will connect all the classes. So RBI, so I will like connect all the private bank, public sector bank with the RBI. So this is what called as a hierarchical inheritance, where there is one single superclass and multiple subclasses are there which are connected to the one single class. So what I will do, just to, yes, so it will be easy to understand. Okay, now this is done. So now in this case, what is happening, all this method are overriding, like ICICI method are overriding RBI method, HDFC are overriding RBI method, in the same way SBI also doing the same thing. Now this is what our program, and here what I will do, I will create RBI reference variable as A, and will use the ICICI object. And now A dot, what's happened, A dot, array. This should be done in main method, not in class. Okay, so E dot show method. So here we can see that if we look carefully, dot show method. So show method belongs to the RBI first of all in a compile time. A dot IR. So this also belongs to the RBI, I think. I dot, yes, this also belongs to the RBI class. And now if I execute this, so I'm getting ICICI Bank and interest rate is 7.9. So what, in this case ICICI Bank is overriding the method of RBI Bank. So this is called as overriding. Now in this example we haven't used the overriding keyword just like here, but we can use it, and using usage of override keyword is good because it will gives the idea that what method is doing. So it's better to use this one. So we need to use here at the rate override. So this is good to use, and this is okay, maybe it should be in the another line. No, void I missed. Okay, so I can use like this. So usage is not compulsory at all, but if we use, then we can easily understand that these methods that are belongs to HDFC or ICICI and SBI are overriding the method of RBI. So this is the example with the ICICI. We can do the same thing with the other banks too. So here I will use the next object like B. Then here I will use HDFC, HDFC. Then here the next object C, and I will use SBI. And if I execute all those, then I'm getting ICICI Bank interest rate is 7.9. Oh, here everything is same. That is so. Yeah, ICICI Bank extend, RBI, HDFC. Okay, here I need to change the object to B and here C. So if I execute it again, so I'm getting ICICI Bank interest rate is 7.9, HDFC Bank interest rate is 7.96, and SBI Bank interest rate is 7.8. So all these method RBI, sorry, SBI, HDFC and ICICI are overriding the RBI method. This is what overriding. So the child class method, we can say that overriding the parent class method. So let's try to understand this again. Here we can say that in a runtime polymorphism method declaration is going to get binded to definition at the runtime. Okay, at the runtime, because at a compile time we can see the method get banded to the parent class, but at runtime whenever the execution happens, so that time child class method got executed. So that's why it is called as a runtime. It is also called as a late, because the decision is happen at the end, at the last. So that's why it is called as a late binding. And yes, so we here we are saying when we write the method in a super and subclass in a such a way that method name and parameter we know that, then acquiring the superclass method into subclass with the help of extend keyword, yeah, that we done. Then if the parent class implementation is not able to fulfill the child class requirement, means what, here we have seen in the example of this case that Harry need to marry with the Ginny. So what parent class is saying that Harry should marry with the Hermione. So this is not accepted to the child class. Child class implementation or requirement is different. That's why child class overrided. So here also we have seen the parent class implementation is not able to fulfill. Parent want the marriage with Hermione, but child was marriage with Ginny. Then if the requirement is clear and implementation is different for the different child classes, then override. And another example we have seen the implementation of ICCI, HDFC and RBI is different. So that's why all these classes override the RBI class method. So this is what the overriding. Thank you.